fish attractor project and the Christmas trees? How's that going?
Say, well, we've got Mr. Ron Carson here that is the lead on the fish attractor project, but it's been going good so far. Tell us a little bit about it, Ron.
Well, we spent probably the last 2 weekends putting out maybe 170 trees. Hopefully we could do that many more in the next 2 weeks, possibly even top last year's when we had 430 maybe last year.
Yeah.
So we had a good many last year. But the goal is just to make it so that the people staying here have a place to fish and can attract some bait fish in there, and that brings in the game fish and gives them something to do and not go home empty handed. But
So can you describe, how do you get the trees out there? What's that whole process?
Well, obtaining them is the biggest thing. Is we may go to neighborhoods to get them. They're on the side of the road. We may go to the Home Depot, Lowe's, the dump, just wherever we can get them. We have to tie them to blocks, something to hold them down, and we put them on the pontoon to deploy it. And we find spots around the park that's within casting distance from the bank, so that you can catch them, in the backyard of your campsite. So, but that's pretty much it. It's time consuming. You can only get so many on the pontoon at a time, and then you ride and come back. So there's some time spent, but it's enjoyable. We enjoy doing it.
This all started last year. We had the first real learning year of it, and it was we learned a lot, but it was very successful with Ron. And you could get a lot of Christmas trees from Lowe's and Home Depot. There was a plethora of extra trees last year, but this year they sold all their trees, so we have to go and kind of search for them a little bit more. But we had the planned youth fishing tournament last year, but that ended up having to be canceled due to COVID. So we're planning on having that the next possible time. But in the meantime, this gives bank fishermen and boat fishermen around the park a lot of different areas where they can go to pretty reliably catch some fish around the park. So that was really the goal, was to find areas where the water was deep enough where we could put the fish attractors in, but where you could also cast to it from the shore. As our fish attractors, by the Corps of Engineers permit, have to be in water at least 12 feet deep, and then go out. And it's like 40 feet is our max range on that, where we're really targeting bass and crappie in those depth ranges.
Did
We've got a map that we're marking
take
them on,
advantage
too.
of the free entrance to the park with the Christmas tree?
So we haven't had anybody tell us specifically about it. We did get a fair number of trees that have been dropped off. We probably got about 15 or so that have been dropped off at the entrance. So that was good. We had one person came and took 6 of them. So, but I guess he
needed them more than we did.
Yeah, he wanted to go put out his own fish attractor. So, so he took a couple trees for himself. But Ron knows good spots to get
Really?
trees, again, with the town and calling the government agency, seeing who has trees that have been dropped off at recycling centers. So Ron found plenty to replace those. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is that Raymond's come up with a map too, so that it's like, where to throw, where the brush is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want it to. So we've got brush out here, but okay, where do we throw it? Well, we've got a map that we're putting together so that you can pinpoint those locations.
Great.
Yeah.
I guess we can get that and maybe post it on the website and on Facebook.
Yeah, probably a couple of weeks when we complete it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Right now it's kind of a combination of both years permits, one on one. So we have 18 total different locations.
Wow.
And we focus on some areas a little bit more than others. Some that are just a little bit easier accessible by the bank, but there's some that are just accessible by boat, but they're right around the park.